of the morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio and your state's number one family radio station. This beautiful Friday morning, the 17th day in the month of October 2025. Great morning to you, and thank God it is Friday. We believe you're well, and your day or your month or your week, has been great. And we pray that, things will fall in the right places and lines will fall upon you at appropriate places. Welcome to Perspectives Unlimited. Indeed, it's always a pleasure to welcome you to this side of radio, where we take you through the top stories making the rounds in our nation, Nigeria, for the brand new day. This is the weekend edition of the program, Perspectives Unlimited. The program runs from Monday up until Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. while you join Chukwemeka Munachis on the roundtable on Saturday to also discuss critical issues out of the dailies, trending stories in Nigeria, and of course the bigger version of that for Saturday tomorrow. All right, let's go through the front pages of the dailies for today. But before then, my name is Ayo Emmanuel-Ojo, and you're listening to 89.3 FM. We're broadcasting live from Wells Broadcasting House along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. You're welcome to the program. Right, we start with the Nigerian Tribune for today on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Presidential prerogative of mercy at review stage, not final, says the AGF. When I saw that story this morning, I'm not quite sure what that means. It's been announced already. So what review stage again? But we'll look at that and more again in the story. On page 3, Rivers government cancels 134 billion naira secretariat reconstruction contract awarded by IBAS. That story is on page 3. On the same page, which is the major story for this morning, my agenda for INEC, says Amukwita. The writer says the Senate confirms his nomination. Another says improvement of logistics, Electoral Offences Commission imperative speaks on Beavers IREV may consider drones for logistics. Credible elections will promote public confidence, he declares. Let's move on to page 4 of the Tribune. Withheld Osun local government funds. State AG can sue on behalf of local governments. Abuja court rules on page 4. And on page 22, Nnamdi Kanu's ailment not life-threatening. Fit to stand trial, NMA tells the court. Any evidence to back that up? That story is on page 22 of the Tribune. On page 25, Kogi Gov raises bandits camp, arrests 2 suspects. On page 25. 2026 Hajj. NACON made states to review fare as Saudi Arabia reduces Nigeria slot to 66,910. Why the reduction? Go straight to page 6. On page 5 of the Tribune, PDP unshaken by defections, ready for landmark convention in Ibadan, says Fintiri. Court reaffirms order on parties not to take any step on PDP convention. How many governors do we have left in the PDP? We'll look at that again this morning on page 22, which is the final story on the Nigerian Tribune. Ekiti has enjoyed rapid economic growth in 3 years. Oyebanji says names new school after former Speaker Afuye and minority leader dumps SDP for APC. Let's see what we have this morning on The Guardian. On The Guardian this morning, NBA Speedel police agreed to review tinted permit policy On page 27. On page 29, Obi Wike trade words over 2027 presidency, capacity to lead. On page 28, aviation expert Kikas Kalu accuses pilot of smoking marijuana. You find that on page 28 this morning on The Guardian. Now to the big stories, pages 4 and 5 of The Guardian. More music, less manifesto. How praise singers override party agenda. Scorecards at rally. Oh, our people love music. Oh, yes, we do. Our campaigns are like musical concerts. Some of the best sound equipment, you find them there. Let's look at this, cartoon on the front page of The Guardian. And of course, the people in the crowd with Shekere and then their Yoruba caps, I can see Abitiaja, among others, on the left. And on your mandate we shall stand, to be recited twice. And one other word that I can't see on radio, one of the chants of the popular Fuji artists at the Olubado coronation. You remember that, right? It's also on The Guardian. Another one on the other side. These are looking like Southeasterners on the other side. Also, singing praises. And other people that look like people from Wike's side. As if they paint them, it is sweetest. Also on the flip side, that is making a very good Friday for me, if you ask me. You want to see that image? Please go straight to The Guardian this morning to find that. Heavy reliance on oil, domestic debt expose Nigeria to financial risk, IMF warns. NMA says Kano fit for trial as Ohaneze group advocates dialogue. On page 6, defections, legal dispute, rock PDP as APC, Gulf projects strength, unity in Kebbi. And on page 7, presidential pardon under review, says AGF as Macaulay's family pushes back. And finally on The Guardian, World Food Day, federal government tasked on support for local farmers, equitable distributions, that you find on page 7 this morning on The Guardian newspaper. Let's take top stories on the Punch Online this morning. The major story here says, under pressure, Tinubu may drop controversial names for pardon list. Senate confirms Amukuto as INEC chairman. PDP crisis, court freezes convention plans. Hajj, Saudi Arabia slashes Nigeria's camp slot to 67,000 naira. Man burns ex-girlfriend inside Oyo barracks. And that's all we can take with the front page. And of course, stories from the Punch newspaper this morning. Thank you so much for joining the program Perspectives Unlimited this Friday morning, the 17th of October 2025. Head on straight to our Facebook page this morning to watch us live on Facebook, facebook.com/Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. And of course, you can also watch us live on our YouTube page at Wells Radio 89.3 FM. We will be right back. Stay with us.
That in the year 2003, the United States government also considered me and appointed me as a visiting scholar, or they call it visiting professor, to the University of Iowa in the United States, where I spent 9 months researching on cutting-edge issues related to comparative law between America and Nigeria. I served in the University of Jos, became a head of Department of Public Law, and also became the Dean of the Faculty of Law. And I happen to be one of the longest serving deans because I served for 6 years, while ordinarily you are supposed to serve for 4. But because of the compelling need, I was prevailed upon to take the university and the faculty to another level. Because during my tenure as the Dean of the Faculty of Law, for the first time, the Faculty of Law became the third best, the University of Jos, became the third best university, faculty in Nigeria.
No, it's not disqualified. I was a student, ordinary student.
Senator, distinguished Senator Lalong, I didn't hear you well.
Sir, I said in the course of my studies, I also went through him.
You went
when
through
I
him?
was reading master's degree. But I didn't go to University of Jos. I went to ABU and came back, did master's. I met him briefly. I saw him briefly there as a dean. He was the dean. He was the dean. So he didn't supervise me directly. He was the dean.
Senator Lalong,
Sir.
please do not bias the minds of members.
No.
Why I'm saying this is, if you went through him,
Yes.
or you went under him, however you did, all we want to, from what you are saying, you want to attest to his character.
Yes, sir.
So just say, I attest to his character, then you sit down.
That's why.
Others can ask questions.
Thank you.
And I want to believe that the question of the minority leaders is also similar to that. There would definitely be an audit of what the system we're meeting, and especially of the logistic of the election itself, and ensure that the proper strategy is put in place. We all know the problem. So we'll find a proper strategy to be able to confront those problems headlong. I give one example. Logistic problem. We rely on third-party logistics to transport sensitive election materials. Some of the vehicles, when you see them, they are old. And they don't even go far. And when they drop the materials, they don't even remain to bring back. So when they abandon the voting and the results, and collation is made or to transport, we now have to be hiring machines and so. So we need to take it serious and ensure, even if INEC has to go into some form of logistic on its own to ensure that aspect. I'm just giving you one example that I know. Thank you, sir.
So, Prof, you are saying that when they drop the materials at the various units, they hardly come back to pick the results.
In some cases.
So some of our results must have been forgotten.
The results are not forgotten, sir. But you find the presiding officer at risk that as soon as the election is over, they wait for so long and they have to make their own arrangement to get to the collation center. In the process, they get there very late. And so sometimes you get there, with due respect, sir, my wife was returning, was it a collation officer? I had to bring a generator to help them. There was no light. So logistics waste time. And those facilities are not there. If we want to do it, let's do it well. So we'll provide the necessary logistic, transport logistic for that.
And thereafter take a bow and go. Say aye. Those against that he be allowed to answer a few questions already asked and take a bow and go. In other words, he should stand and continue to answer more questions. Say nay. See?
Questions or two. Three more questions or two.
Those in support that he be allowed to answer the questions already asked and then take a bow and take leave of the Senate. Say aye. Those again say nay. Even a deaf man will know that the eyes have it.
this morning, waiting for this to happen. First of all, before we begin, this could have not happened if we do not have a responsible president. We have done so many elections here. The major problem we had was the president is not with us. Am I lying? Am I lying? What do you say to Asewaju? So let me tell you first, before we begin. You see this cap? I will not forgive any commissioner that is not wearing it. In ESCO, if you are not wearing suit, and you are wearing traditional dress, and you are coming to the ESCO without this Asewaju cap, you are going back. Today makes another important steps into our journey to rebuild and reposition Edo State for development. You have been carefully selected, screened, and confirmed by the House of Assembly, purely on merit. Your nomination did not come as a reward or patronage, but as a call to serve the people of Edo State.
Welcome back to the program. This is Perspectives Unlimited, Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, and your state's #1 family radio station. Sometimes on Fridays, it's like the 1 hour is never sufficient. To look at some of the stories, the angles, and then take your reactions. But with the brevity of time that we have, we will definitely do justice to what we can do, and I trust that we will to take it over from there, and of course for our Yoruba audience to even engage better on that one. With me in the studio this morning to help us make sense of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria, Dr. Lalikosan is in the studio.
Good morning, Chief.
Good morning to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How
I
about
mean,
you?
we take different ones. On different days, we take doctor. On different ones, we take pastor. On different ones, we take barrister. Good to have you
It is
again.
always an honor to
How are
be
you
here.
doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
I mean, listening to the drama on the floor of the House, it reminds me of my days in the university and how, student union government, I mean, the youthful exuberance is expected of young people, and how we'll make so much noise, banned words, songs, and all of that. And if you ask me, do I expect that on the bigger floor, at the Senate? Not at all. But I saw a bit of that, yesterday during the interrogation session for Professor Amukuto. Some of the questions, I mean, reasonable questions if you ask me, from, some of our senators. But the entry point was quite weak with some of the, the accolades, drama, queuing questions. The Senate president's reaction is mannerism. If you ask me, a part of it just feels like a comedy show, which I don't think is expected. But, I mean, you're a political scientist. I'm just an observer from this point, and innocent Nigerian doing his job. Let me get your reaction and how you feel. Maybe politically, that's what is obtainable. I don't know. How do you feel, especially with the eyes have it, the nose, and the likes? Let's get your thoughts in.
In all seriousness, the situation in this country is depressing. Even the boys of the greatest they would have done better than this nonsense. I mean, it is despicable that you would hear this type of voices echoing empty words on the floor of the Nigerian Senate. This should be the place where you would expect to have the most robust argument and debates in the land, but unfortunately, it's no better than a kindergarten debate session, and it's not very, very good in terms of what lies ahead for the country. We are talking about the most important thing in the life of the country, processes guiding our elections, and looking at what Akpabio was saying, we can deduce that somebody was even making stories up. I'm talking about Senator Lalong as regards being a student. You know, Akpabio saying,
and several others, not just speculate Lalong. At the time will not take us to take each of them, and then,
that's not supposed to be the way to go. The biggest villain in all of it, as far as I'm concerned, remains Akpabio, because some senators were asking strong questions as regards the use of beavers and high rev. And Akpabio didn't even want him to answer that question. I mean, those questions, until some people went haywire and said, Akpabio, you are not the one under the light. Let's focus on this guy and let's ask him serious questions. From that, we now went to the drama of Edo State. In all seriousness, all Nigerians, all of us, across party, ethnic, religious lines, need to be very, very much concerned right now, because you are saying that if the governor, not me, not you, that if any member of the State Executive Council committee is coming for a State Council meeting without the Ashiwaju cap, I mean, the broken chain link cap, the person would be sent back and the person would not be forgiven by the governor. In all seriousness, Saddam Hussein didn't do this much. Idi Amin didn't do this much. Muammar Gaddafi didn't do this much. Nigeria is heading towards North Korea. And I must be very, very frank here, it is not pleasing at all. What exactly is the connection between what you have on your head and what you have inside your head?
And what you have to do.
What you have in your head is what matters, not what you have on your head. The governor of Edo State had that cap on him. And listening to him, trust me, I have listened to some kindergarten students who could, flow more eloquently than this guy. Mind you, this is the same guy sometime earlier in the year who couldn't read. He was, attempting to present the budget for this year, and he got to a point where he was literally stuck. He couldn't read anymore. He wanted to read figures, and he was saying, instead of 600 billion, he was saying 60, 600, 6,000. I mean, those are the type of people we now have. Go and check, sir. You will never find any video where Monday Okpebolo is addressing the people and is reading a text, an already prepared text. And there is no reason to be concerned. Just Google and check his WAEC result, and you'll understand that governance is actually in the gutters in this country. Nigerians need to wake up. This is a wake-up call. That is how I see it. If we leave politics to the worst of us, we will keep going down and down and down and down as a country. If we want to take this country high, people who know exactly what they are doing need to step into the game. Otherwise, the best of us will be led by the worst of us. And there is no way you can get to anywhere meaningful going by that arrangement.
All right, before we get to Professor Mukpito and then the questioning and some of his statements yesterday, let's talk about this story, which I'm going to link to one of the headlines that we saw during the week. Tinubu may drop controversial names for pardon list. There are indications on Thursday that some names on the presidential pardon list approved by the Council of State as presented by the Attorney General of the Federation, Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN, may be dropped. The development comes amid growing public outcry over the inclusion of certain high-profile and violent offenders among those pardoned by President Tinubu. The presidential pardon, usually granted to mark national occasion, was also meant to decongest prisons and promote reconciliation. The presidential statement noted that the decision followed recommendations by the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, chaired by the Attorney General. It added that the list of beneficiaries was divided into 6 categories. Those granted pardon, posthumous pardon, including the Ogoni 9, victims of the Ogoni 9 honored presidential clemency, Inmates recommended for reduced terms of imprisonment and inmate on death row whose sentences were commuted to life imprisonment. However, the latest episode has reignited debate over the transparency and integrity of Nigeria's pardon process. On Thursday, Fagbemi, however, clarified that the presidential prerogative of mercy recently announced by the president was still under review and not finalized. Controversy has continued to trail the inclusion of some names with anti-graft and security agencies, including the EFCC and the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, reportedly moving to halt the release of some of these individuals. Fagbemi, at the Council of State meeting convened on the 9th of October, had listed illegal miners, white-collar victims, drug offenders, foreigners, among so many others, among the list. And also, as well as the capital offenders, such as Mayam Sanda, among 175 convicts and former convicts who received presidential pardon. The full list was released on the 11th of October, 2025. Now, let's look at this now. While some names of politically exposed persons on the list, like Herbert Macaulay, Farouk Lawan, among others, did not raise dust, the inclusion of certain individuals linked to violent crimes and security breaches spark outrage. One of the names was Miriam Sanda, who was convicted in 2017 for stabbing her husband, Bello, to death. While some members of the family rejected the pardon for Miriam, the father-in-law, Alhaji Bello Isa, alongside Miriam's father, Alhaji Garba Sanda, addressed the press conference to accept the presidential pardon. That is where the switch is coming up right now. Let's take a break, and when we come back right after that break, we're going to look at that story and thereafter dive into the world of politics and, of course, the new appointment at INEC. Stay with us.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Are you ready to showcase your brand to the heartbeat of Africa's broadcasting industry? At Africast 2025, the premier gathering of broadcasters, content creators, and media innovators, your business gets the spotlight it deserves. From October 20th to 24th at the Balmoral Convention Center, Sheraton, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria, thousands of industry leaders and decision makers will connect, explore, and invest in the future of broadcasting. Book your exhibition booth today and put your products, services, and ideas in front of the people who matter most. Don't just attend Africast 2025. Be seen, be heard, and be inspired. Visit www.africastexpo.com or email info@nbc.gov.ng to secure your registration now. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
It's back, bigger, bolder and better. The Big 7 Stories returns to Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Join Bolanle Oduekunwayola every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. as she breaks down the 7 biggest headlines of the week: politics, economy, security, lifestyle, and more. Plus, in our special segment, I Report, we dig deeper into one headline with expert insights and the voices of everyday Nigerians. Don't miss the comeback of the Big 7 Stories every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. only on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, the wholesome radio station.
Efile Emma Yikuro, Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Níbẹ̀ gangan lẹ́wà.
And I want to believe that the question of the minority leaders is also similar to that. There would definitely be an audit of what the system we are meeting, and especially of the logistic of the election itself, and ensure that the proper strategy is put in place. We all know the problem. So we'll find a proper strategy to be able to confront those problems headlong. I give one example. Logistic problem. We rely on third-party logistics to transport sensitive election materials. Some of the vehicles, when you see them, they are old. And they don't even go far. And when they drop the materials, they don't even remain to bring back. So when they abandon the voting and the results, and collation is made or to transport, they now have to be hiring machines and so. So we need to take it serious and ensure, even if INEC has to go into some form of logistic on its own to ensure that aspect. I'm just giving one example that I know. Thank you, sir.
So, Prof, you are saying that when they drop the materials at the various units, they hardly come back to pick the results.
In some cases.
So some of our results must have been forgotten.
The results?
All right, you're welcome back. Still Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Before the break, I took this story from The Punch. Tinubu may draw presidential names for pardon. And of course, before that break, while some names of politically exposed persons on the list, like Herbert Macaulay, Farouk Lawan, among others, did not raise dust, the inclusion of certain individuals linked to violent crimes and security breaches sparked outrage. One of the names was Miriam Sanda, who was convicted in 2017 for stabbing her husband, Bello, to death. While some members of the Bello family rejected the pardon for Miriam, the father, Alhaji Bello Isa, alongside Miriam's father, Alhaji Garba Sanda, addressed the press conference to accept the presidential pardon. The president also pardoned Major S. Alabi Akubo, who was sentenced to life imprisonment for illegal possession of prohibited firearms, among others, and one Kelvin Prosper, whose kidnapping terror spanned Delta, Edo, Rivers, Abia, Benue, and Oyo State, with detention camps in Warri and Delta, Benue, Benin City, and Abia State. Let's take a look at this possible reversal from the Attorney General, saying that it's not final yet. If I'm taking, yes, not final yet, by the Attorney General of the Federation. Let me get your thoughts in on this.
Let me start by saying that on behalf of all reasonable Nigerians, I tender an apology without reservation to the family of Abat Macaulay for including the name of that very, very, very noble anti-colonialism fighter in the list where you have people like Farouk Lawan. You said the name of Farouk Lawan. It is raising serious dust in my own mind.
I mean, according to the Punch, yeah.
Because he's a guy who collected bribe to the tune of $500,000, and you are saying somebody like that. I mean, how did you get here? The point is this: going by the law, there is room for pardon. But there is no room for reversal of pardon. Nigerians need to know that this is my information management, that they are only trying to deflect our mind from the reality. That, they have now said they want to review it. Okay, let's wait and see what is going to happen. My dear brother, that there is no room for that. So I can say that is not happening. Let me tell you something about Kevin. Kevin kidnapped a deputy governor. Kevin kidnapped a judge who later died in his hands. He kidnapped a former CBN big gun. He was a notorious kidnapper whose reign of terror sent chills down the spine of everybody almost in everybody in almost the north central and southern part of the country. Now, this same person has been pardoned. A major in the army, Major Alabila, that you mentioned his name, he was convicted of stealing between 6,000 to 7,000 weapons, and he sold those weapons to terrorists. And that is the same person we are granting pardon to in this country. The president pardoned illegal miners, only for him 3 days after to tell ECOWAS to declare illegal mining to be an international crime. Are you kidding me? In your own country, you released them, but you're running after ECOWAS to declare it as a serious international crime. Man, it is a joke. And the worst of it is people who have been convicted of narcotics. As far as I'm concerned, that is the greatest offense against humanity. Narcotics trafficking. Because it is the background for everything. No, not many people would say they want to go and commit armed robbery without getting high. Not many people will say they want to go and kill without getting high. This is the foundation for everything. And we have, it constituted the largest part of the people who are pardoned. And the president granted them mercy. I mean, I'm still finding a way to describe what the president did. It is evil, it is obnoxious, it is anti-Nigeria. To convict Farouk Lawan, the ICPC spent over ₦1 billion in convicting him. You may not know Farouk Lawan. Farouk Lawan was a super big boy in the Nigerian House of Representatives alongside Gali Umar Nahawa. Yeah. He single-handedly removed the speaker, Patricia Ete. And they installed this guy from Ogun State, Bankole. That's how highly influential he was. And he was beginning to throw that influence around to the point that he began to tax people to bring money. Femi Otedola was a victim. He asked him to give him $3 million, otherwise he would expose some things done by Femi Otedola's company. And Femi Otedola gave him money, in bits and batches up to $500,000. In today's Naira and Kobo, that is 750 million Naira. The same guy was prosecuted by EFCC only for our president to say it. And there's one thing about pardon. If somebody committed murder, like if somebody went to Mobile and, he shot like 4 people dead, and eventually the person gets a presidential pardon. If you accuse that, after the person must have been convicted or whatever, if you later refer to that person as an ex-convict, he will sue you and he will win. Pardon means that person never committed that offense. Can you imagine? In my opinion, the worst attorney general in the history of the country was Michael Andoaka. But Michael Andoaka can rest now. Somebody has beaten his record.
But if this is called presidential pardon, let's go back to the president's statement as it gets to mining for in ECOWAS and what happened at home. I know that in Nigeria there are certain licenses or documents that you need, and they would tell you, the president needs to sign them.
Yes.
But what we eventually,
even radio licenses,
what we eventually get to see, maybe not the president really signing these things, but coming from the presidency, this is where I'm going. It's called presidential pardon. And we have the president in Nigeria. We've also seen presidency. Can we say truly that the president is aware of these pardons? And on what basis are these pardons done? Is it political? Is it in the interest of the nation? On whose, Let's look at both sides of this, and then the signing of this before we go to INEC.
Let's start by saying, by explaining the rationale behind the idea of pardon. We have heard some overly harsh judgments in the history of this country, like a guy in Osun State who stole a fowl and was sentenced to death. That is where pardon comes in. As a politician, somebody who has eyes all across town to say, no, that was too harsh. And
the president is going to sign that, maybe assign to someone to go on his behalf.
The truth of the matter is this. I am even questioning the legality of what the president has done. The president is the president and commander-in-chief of the country whose jurisdiction should not exceed what is in the exclusive list. Murder, the federal government doesn't prosecute murder. It's the state government that does that. So for Biliaminu Bello, for Miriam Sanda, who killed Biliaminu Bello, I am struggling to understand how the president could have granted our mercy, because it was not the federal government that took her to court. It was she was tried at the FCT High Court. The FCT High Court is as good as the Oyo State High Court, not a federal High Court. That's that. For Kelvin, we're talking about kidnapping. Kidnapping too has a lot of. It's mostly a state case, but illegal mining, that's a federal case. Narcotics, that's a federal case. And the president has said he wants to. You now asked if the president was aware or not. If I give you a role, Mr. Ayo, get this thing done for me. Should you misbehave there, I could be vicariously held liable. Yes, that is that. That is number one. Number two is this. Can you really separate the presidency from the president? The president can hire and fire anybody in the presidency, including personal heads of the vice president. That is how influential the president is. So you cannot separate it. Anybody who is saying that, maybe the president, such a person should be given a knock on the head.
All right, let's move on.
Because I understand that some of his handlers are saying that Lateef Fagbemi was the head of the body that did the review. Who appointed Lateef Fagbemi? Me or you?
Yeah. Senate confirms Amokwita as INEC chairman. That story is all over the place now. The Senate has confirmed Professor Joash Amokwita as new chairman of INEC. The Red Chamber confirmed Amokwita after a voice vote conducted by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and after undergoing screening and answering question posed by the lawmakers. Amokwita had earlier arrived at the National Assembly complex exchanged pleasantries with senators. We'll start that conversation in a moment. Well, let's take our first call for today. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, West Radio.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Salami from Awoton.
God bless you, my name is I'm calling from Awoton. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
God bless you, sir. Yes, sir. You see, for me this morning, the latest development coming from presidency concerning, saying that the presidential pardon is under review. For me, it's afterthought and needless. The deed is done already. Honestly speaking, for me, Mr. President has exercised his prerogative of mercy wrongly this time around. Wrongly, I said. Ask me why. He has laid a bad precedent. Honestly speaking, to the judges who took their pain or let me usually take pain to determine cases threat from criminals who still go along to say no. They must ensure adequate extension of justice by making out appropriate punishment to certain offences, and only for those people to be released later. Hardened criminals, gun runners, drug barons, kidnappers, armed robbers, arsonists. Honestly speaking, I don't know. The president has made a bad precedent. Look at only yesterday, I read in another news that a lady backed her husband with hot water while sleeping. I said, okay, maybe she's thinking that maybe it happened. I'll just the sentence for it and get presidential pardon later. That's just it. So there's consequences for every action. More so at such echelon of power, Mr. President, the number one. So it's like Mr. President should have been cautious. When I'm aware that it's possible for maybe some of the handlers to load the list, to kind of, populate the list with some of their something. Somebody was telling me that like the case of Sunday, forget about the press conference by the two father-in-laws. I don't care about that. But how do you illustrate the pain of ordinary member of the family of that Benjamin? And what Mr. President will have done is probably to convert from the death sentence to lifetime. Probably ensure that she spends more time in jail. Not that outright to release, just like that. And like, like some of these kidnappers that killed some military person, how do you now think the family of those guys will look?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Salami, so we can make way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Salami, for your call.
I should even add one thing. In the words of Latif Adbimi, he said, the stage they are right now is the stage where they are doing documentation and all of that. So nobody's talking about releasing, I mean, cancelling anybody's pardon. He only made an explanation that, they have not been released back to the street, that we have not reached that stage, that we are doing paperwork right now.
And then I'm asking, why they make the announcement in the first place?
Because he wants to deflect people's mind.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. All right, please call us back. Let's talk about INEC very quickly because of our time. Do you believe in, a personal question to you now, Professor Amupito?
I don't know him. So I mean, unlike our senators who said they were.
All right, let's take this very quickly.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Thank you for calling us.
This is Aderunke from Akne.
Thank you, Aderunke.
I greet you and I greet your guest. Concerning the presidential pardon, I think the recent presidential pardon deserving. Was it a mistake? Because life in itself remains a puzzle. When an action poses a good gesture to some people, the same action becomes an anathema to some other people. So may God help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aderunke.
I don't know him, so I may not be able to say much about him. I was expecting that it would be thoroughly grilled yesterday, and that would give us an insight into who he is. But unfortunately, our senators they flunked that opportunity. But he said some things that could give one reasons to say, okay, let's give him time. He said he's going to review the 2023 election as regards the failure of IREV. Why did it fail? And sometimes it's the past that determines the future. So if he believes that 2023 didn't go well and that he wouldn't want to be in that same scenario, and for that reason he wants to review 2023, let it be. And he also said that he should give him time to study the Electoral Act so that he can bring in his own suggestions. So it's when we hear what he has to say that we will now say that, okay, he is making sense or he is not making sense. For now, I don't want to preempt him. Let him tell us who he is.
Let's see what
he comes up with.
All right, let's take a look at that story again. Senator Godswill Akpabio welcomed him, his family members, and also well wishes. All right, let's take this. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. George from Olugweru.
Yes, from Olugweru.
Good morning to you.
The issue of transitional pardon. There's no after, because that is the policy of the party that is ruling Nigeria today. No matter what sin you commit, if you come into our party, you will be pardoned. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. George. Thank you for your call this morning. This photo story and what comes with it, I want us to talk about it. I'm not sure if you've seen that. How praise singers override party agenda, scorecard at rallies. I know everywhere you find the president.
I don't need to see the.
Oh, you don't need to see the.
I have an idea of what you're talking about.
Everywhere you see the president, there's just one song that as a company of the event, if you have not cued in the musician to chant that, I'm not sure if you get your balance.
Balance, okay. Even the one you have been paid, you'll be asked to refund.
On your mandate, you shall stand. And I've been at different political rallies and government events, and I tell you that high profile musicians will be on board singing, and sometimes you're asking yourself, are we here for a musical concert or we're here for the leader to, tell us some of the best musical equipment will be on
Guess
ground.
what? Sometimes it's not just one musician.
Oh, yes.
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. And then we know the popular one for the president. Always on standby, to roll out the drums. But 2027 is approaching, and in Nigeria, we love entertainment, and it's good. It's another alternative for survival for young people. If the white collar jobs and the other ones are not working, talent is the biggest, one of our biggest export to the world right now. And it's as though we're distracted by that on the political scene, and then politicians are now maximizing that area to further distract us. I want us to talk about this before we go.
The truth of the matter is that we do not focus on the right things in this country. I have seen a lot of rallies where the main guy, the candidate himself, would not speak for more than 5 minutes. That's the norm. 5 minutes. He comes, he mentions the name of the party 3 times, the slogan of the party 3 times, and even the musician will be competing with him for space, such that the compare would start to say, calm down, let the guy talk. And the guy is not going to say one thing that he intends to do let's talk about what Bola Ahmed Tinubu did in Kano. I am not making this up. It is on record. Kano is as good as Lagos of the South. He went to Kano and he said, today I'm not saying anything. I just want to dance. I have come here to dance. If you think I'm lying, Google it. So as a musician, you are the nucleus of that event. It is how well you can drum your beats, how well you can, chorus your melody that determines how successful that rally was. I mean, in his or not. The truth of the matter is that Nigerians love to reward nonsense with positive value. You can't try that here in America. You can't go to New York or California and say you have come to dance and people are going to vote for you. No, it's not going to happen. So if Nigerians do not know their worth, people like this will keep taking them for a ride. But I can tell you free of charge that, yes, it is good to have musicians at rallies, and the only function I believe they should do...
Is that necessary?
No, it is a global practice. What I'm trying to say here is this. Before the main guy arrives, let somebody keep entertaining them. But the moment...
Why entertainment at rallies?
So that people won't go.
I mean, because the goal of the rally is to listen to the leader who truly wants to pass a message. Why should you come late in the first place?
No. Some may say... Okay,
because we see a lot of that. Where rallies or campaigns are scheduled 2-3 hours after. The one who wants to convince us is not even here.
What I'm trying to say is that should a rally be scheduled for 10 a.m., there are some fanatical fans who would be there by 6 a.m., some 7, so that boredom won't come in. Let them be listening to some Bedu before the main guy arrives. But in other parts of the world, once the main guy arrives, nobody else speaks into the microphone. The only person they are going to listen to at that particular point in time is going to be that. But I have the guy you mentioned as regards the president, go and check all the rallies they did in the Southwest. The guy is a Yoruba musician. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, the head of NITCOM, is usually the MC of the president wherever she goes to. And she will begin to compete with Wasiu, Dake, meaning Wasiu, calm down, let our candidate, and the guy will just keep doing his thing. Maybe because he knows the guy doesn't have anything to say. You never can tell. Politicians are very, very strategic. Maybe just keep saying things
just keep loading it.
Just keep loading it so that people will ask me to go and say anything. Well, that is why people are saying, let's calm down. What exactly did the president promise us? And people are beginning to say, but he didn't promise us anything. And he went to our states to do what? To dance. That's why we are.
All right.
That is why we are where we are.
As we approach 2027 election, I think what the Guardian is trying to do here is to call our attention to it again, so that if you love music, please go on all of the streaming platforms. And
there are countless of them right now.
And then download your tunes.
There are free ones that you can go to. Once you listen to do that online,
so that you're not distracted.
Or you
because
tune into 89.3.
Tune into 89.3 FM and some of the songs, and just enjoy them. So we don't go to rallies and then get distracted and expect music.
Manifesto.
When you should be listening to Manifesto. Before we go, how many governors are left in the PDP? We have less than 2 minutes.
We have 8.
8 of them.
But I can tell you free of charge that in a matter of weeks, not more than months, it's going to be not more than 5 initially. Later on, a batch is warming up to go. Well, what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, we are going to have Sheyi Makinde in the PDP and Amadou Fintiri of Adamawa for personal reasons.
Which is?
2027.
All right. One-time big umbrellas. It's shrinking by the day, and...
this party had 28 governors at some point.
Yeah.
28 governors at some point.
What's the future of the PDP?
The PDP is no longer a political party.
Do you think it will rise again?
Not under the current template. The people running the party must leave the party or be chased away from the party. If it's still run by people like Makinde and Wike and...
That's where I'm going to. Is Wike still a member of the PDP?
He's a card-carrying member of the PDP, and that is where the problem of the PDP lies. I said something initially, like earlier in the year. At the PDP sent Wike, Makinde, Ugwanyi, Autumn, and Ekpeazu out, the party would not be facing this mass exodus, because it would be very, very clear that there is penalty for bad behavior.
Are these people bigger than the party?
The party is bigger than everybody.
So why didn't they send them away?
They are not serious.
Let's go. Thank you so much for joining the show today. That's all we can take. It's a lot, but God help Nigeria and God bless Nigeria. Join Chukwemeka tomorrow on the roundtable. That's all we can take. Today's Friday. Put a big smile on your face. Don't be depressed by any of the stories. Make it a point of prayer or derive your prayer point from them. Ask God to help Nigeria using the headlines. And please, Emma Kariso, and say, Nigeria ti budget mi bami. Never. Do not do that to yourself. All right? Pray for Nigeria, because it will be well with Nigeria. God bless you. That's our show for today.
Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wells Radio 89.3 FM or its affiliated entities. Wells Radio 89.3 FM is committed to providing a platform for diverse perspectives and opinions, and the views expressed by guests on our programs are their personal viewpoints. Wells Radio 89.3 FM does not endorse or take responsibility for the content or opinions expressed by individual interviewees and callers. Thank you.
Chamou a zaga para dançar, fez a finta, jogada individual do Neymar, pode pintar o gol, passou por 1, por 2, por 3, entrou na área, pode pintar o gol.
يعني الكثير لإسبانيول، ضاعت الكرة من جانب إسبانيول، تمريرة خابئة صدمت في الدفاع. رونالدو، كريستيانو على اليمين، رونالدو مر، رونالدو عدى بمهارة. يا عيني يا كريستيانو، جميلة من رونالدو هذا كله، والكل يقول أن ليس في مستواه. هذا الهدف عدى من الأول، رونالدو مر، جميلة من رونالدو، جميلة من كريستيانو.
Ja cap a la dreta per Xavi, assistència de Xavi més cap a la dreta per Messi, Messi.